Most people think only weak or gullible individuals fall into cults, but psychology shows that even highly intelligent, educated, and successful people can become trapped under the right conditions. Cults don't control people through magic or mind reading. They use powerful psychological techniques like isolation, emotional manipulation, fear, identity control, and social pressure to slowly reshape how people think and behave. In this video, you'll discover how cults psychologically trap intelligent people, why the human brain is more vulnerable than most realize, and how manipulation can slowly override independent thinking without someone noticing. Today we will talk about how cults use psychology to trap intelligent people. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. Cults do not target weak people. One of the biggest misconceptions about cults is the belief that only weak, unintelligent, or gullible people become trapped in them. In reality, cults often attract highly intelligent, educated, emotionally sensitive, ambitious, and psychologically driven individuals. Intelligence alone does not protect someone from manipulation, because cult control works primarily through emotional and psychological influence rather than simple deception. Human beings naturally seek meaning, belonging, certainty, purpose, identity, and emotional connection. Cults exploit these universal psychological needs skillfully. Many intelligent people join groups believing they are finding personal growth, spiritual truth, emotional healing, social belonging, or a higher purpose. 2. Love bombing creates emotional dependency. One of the most powerful psychological techniques cults use is called love bombing. New members are often flooded with attention, praise, affection, emotional support, validation, and acceptance. This intense positivity creates powerful emotional bonding quickly. People who feel lonely, misunderstood, emotionally lost, insecure, or disconnected may experience this sudden emotional warmth as life-changing. The brain releases dopamine and oxytocin during positive social bonding, making the group feel emotionally comforting and safe. Intelligent people are especially vulnerable during emotionally difficult periods, because emotional needs often override logical skepticism. 3. Isolation weakens independent thinking. Cults often slowly isolate members from outside influences, relationships, and perspectives. This isolation may happen physically, emotionally, socially, or psychologically. Members are encouraged to spend more time inside the group while becoming suspicious of outsiders, critics, friends, or family members. The purpose of isolation is not only control but also information restriction. Human thinking is strongly shaped by environment and social reinforcement. When people are surrounded only by one ideology repeatedly, critical thinking gradually weakens. The brain naturally adapts to the emotional and social reality surrounding it most consistently. Intelligent people can still become trapped because constant psychological reinforcement slowly reshapes perception over time. Isolation creates an emotional environment where the group becomes the primary source of truth, identity, belonging, and emotional security. 4. Fear and guilt become psychological weapons. Cults often use fear and guilt to maintain emotional control over members. Fear may involve punishment, rejection, spiritual consequences, emotional abandonment, social humiliation, or threats about the outside world being dangerous. Members may begin believing that leaving the group will destroy their lives, relationships, identity, or purpose completely. Guilt is also heavily used to control behavior. Individuals may be made to feel selfish, weak, disloyal, spiritually broken, or morally flawed whenever they question authority or express doubt. Over time, these emotional tactics create psychological dependency because members begin policing their own thoughts automatically. The brain becomes trapped between fear of leaving and fear of losing emotional acceptance. This emotional conflict weakens rational decision-making significantly. 5. Cult leaders exploit authority psychology. Human beings are naturally influenced by authority figures. Cult leaders often present themselves as uniquely enlightened, spiritually gifted, intellectually superior, or emotionally powerful. Confidence, charisma, certainty, and emotional intensity create perceived authority psychologically. People are more likely to trust individuals who appear highly confident and certain, especially during periods of confusion or emotional vulnerability. Cult leaders often position themselves as the only source of truth, wisdom, salvation, or understanding. Once emotional trust forms, followers gradually stop questioning the leader critically. Intelligent individuals may even defend irrational beliefs, because emotional loyalty becomes stronger than logical skepticism. Authority psychology is extremely powerful because humans are biologically conditioned to follow strong leadership under uncertainty. 6. Gradual commitment traps people slowly. Most cults do not demand extreme loyalty immediately. Instead, they use gradual psychological escalation. Small commitments slowly turn into larger ones over time. At first, members may simply attend meetings, social events, workshops, or discussions casually. Later, emotional investment, financial contributions, personal sacrifices, lifestyle changes, and deeper obedience begin increasing gradually. This process is psychologically effective because the brain wants consistency. Once people invest time, emotion, identity, money, or social relationships into something, leaving becomes psychologically painful. Intelligent people may stay involved not because they fully believe everything, but because admitting manipulation would force them to confront emotional embarrassment, identity loss, and wasted investment. The longer someone remains involved, the harder it becomes emotionally to walk away. 7. Group pressure changes individual thinking. Human beings are deeply social creatures, and social pressure strongly affects perception and behavior. Inside cult environments, group conformity becomes extremely powerful. When everyone around someone repeats the same beliefs, behaviors, and emotional reactions constantly, individual resistance weakens gradually. Members often fear rejection, isolation, or emotional abandonment if they disagree openly. The brain naturally seeks belonging and social acceptance because historically survival depended on remaining connected to groups. Even intelligent individuals may begin suppressing doubts internally to maintain emotional belonging. Over time, group identity becomes stronger than personal identity. 8. Awareness is the best protection against manipulation. The frightening truth about cult psychology is that almost anyone can become vulnerable under the right emotional conditions. Loneliness, trauma, uncertainty, emotional pain, identity crises, purpose-seeking, grief, or major life transitions can weaken psychological defenses significantly. Cults succeed not because members are stupid, but because human psychology itself is vulnerable to emotional influence, belonging, authority, and manipulation. The best protection is awareness. Understanding emotional manipulation, social pressure, authority influence, fear tactics, and psychological conditioning helps people recognize dangerous patterns earlier. Healthy groups encourage independent thinking, open discussion, personal boundaries, and emotional freedom. Manipulative groups demand obedience, isolate criticism, and punish questioning. In the end, cults reveal how powerful psychology can become when emotional needs, identity, fear, and social influence are used strategically to override independent thought and slowly reshape human behavior. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the button to subscribe.